The University of Texas says 6 graduate students are in Israel tonight amid fighting with Hamas. UT says all have plans to return to the U.S. within the next 1 to 3 weeks. Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas will continue tomorrow after Israel rejected a week-long ceasefire plan to get medical aid into Gaza. Israel has, however, agreed to a 12-hour ceasefire to start on Saturday morning. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon tried to broker the week-long deal between officials from Israel and Hamas in Egypt today. The Israeli cabinet unanimously rejected the plan, which would have allowed officials 7 days to safely bring medical supplies into Gaza. That has sparked new fears that fighting will continue there. Since fighting began at the beginning of July, more than 800 Palestinians have been killed, as have 36 Israeli soldiers and 2 civilians. And while that fighting may be half a world away, it is having an impact on some people right here in Austin. KXAN's David Scott introduces us to a woman who worries for her daughter living in Israel.
Diane Radin and her husband have lived in their cozy Westover Hills home for more than 30 years. But her only daughter, Sarah, became deeply devoted to Israel and moved there 14 years ago, where she married and now has 5 children. Diane and Sarah stay in regular touch.
We always talked at least once a week, and I talked to my grandchildren as well. And they did tell me, I asked if there were any sirens going off in their neighborhood, and she said they did shelter from, they heard a siren go off and they sheltered in the stairwell. Their apartment building is older, so it doesn't have any safe rooms in each apartment.
That missile landed near a neighboring town last week. Sarah lives on the outskirts of Haifa, well north of the troubled Gaza. According to Diane, Sarah, and especially the kids, ages 1 to 12, look upon these scares as somewhat normal now, like an American fire drill. However, they are not likely to move back to the U.S.
I would love it if she did, but I don't think it's going to happen. They feel that this is their place, this is their home, they're part of the country. You know, if it weren't for people like them, there wouldn't be a homeland for the Jewish people. So.
An answer, perhaps, to the question, why do people stay in Israel, surrounded by the threats to their daily lives? David Scott, KXAN News.
Diane says her daughter Sarah is not worried these days, but believes it was a mistake for Israel to give up Gaza 9 years ago, a mistake she believes they are paying for today.